So this video is all about the pros and cons of living in Laguna Beach, California.
So stay tuned.
It's the real OC.
Oh. Hi, I'm Sean Dezahd.
And I'm Courtney Dezahd.
And we're with the Keller Williams Schultz, the California Homes Group, right here in Orange County, California. And if this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything about working, eating, sleeping, living, and playing in Orange County, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, and don't forget to click on the little bell so you're notified every time a new video comes out. Now, we love getting so many calls from people looking to either buy or sell a home in Orange County. So whether you're thinking about moving to Orange County, moving from Orange County, or moving within Orange County, don't forget to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us email.
Or you can reach us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back. So before we get started on the pros and cons of Laguna Beach, we're just going to give you a little overview of Laguna Beach. And to do that, we reached out to a friend of ours who, because we like to, in all these videos, we have a lot of videos about cities, we like to reach out to people who grew up in these cities.
Have real intimate knowledge of the
yes,
cities.
An insider perspective. So we reached out to a former colleague of mine, Chris Morrow. He grew up in Laguna Beach, and I met him because he used to be the editor-in-chief of Surfer magazine, as well as a bunch of other stuff. I used to work at that company.
Grind
so,
TV.
Yeah. So
rest in peace.
Yes, another internet or journalism thing that bit the dust,
yes.
But whatever. That's another story. Okay, so, and because Chris is a former editor of a big magazine, he's very poetic in his descriptions of Laguna. So he gives a very, beautiful description of Laguna. And
it's not too hard to understand why he had this beautiful description, because Laguna Beach is an absolutely beautiful city.
Yes, I mean, the way he described it, and anyone who goes there will just see it, and it's like the Mediterranean. It is so beautiful. It's where the ocean meets the sea. There are hills everywhere. It's surrounded by a green belt. I mean, it's just views galore. It is one of the most spectacular places in all of California.
Yeah,
really.
and it is amazing. For, like, again, I guess if we wanted to jump into one of the pros, is the fact that views are everywhere. And a lot of cities, obviously, even coastal cities, I mean, obviously you have some ocean views and that kind of thing, but like it's not all the houses, it seems like, and it's seemingly in Laguna Beach, every property has something of a view, either whether it's a canyon view, but primarily ocean views. Yeah,
and then one thing that Chris did mention is that Laguna Beach is a tight-knit community, and surprisingly, when you go there, sometimes when you go to these really, high-end places, you feel maybe a little out of place, and you think people are going to be, just too, I don't know.
Snooty.
Snooty.
Snooty? Snotty.
But they're not snooty. I mean, Laguna Beach is surprisingly down to earth. So.
Yes, I mean, yeah, and I think that, obviously having tourists come in as they do, you kind of have to, inevitably you have to be kind of somewhat welcoming, and I never felt, going through the city, showing properties or whatever, that everyone just seemed like really down to earth. Yeah,
and then obviously when we're talking about an overview of Laguna, one of the biggest cons obviously is the price, and this this goes to speak because, our friend Chris, he grew up in Laguna, and he said, his family basically hit the lottery because his father bought their house in the 1960s
for
$77,000. And then, he grew up in a family with 5 other siblings, and pretty much everyone else has left Laguna, gone to other places. He lives in Mission Viejo now. I mean, that I would say, so just to speak to a little bit about the real estate in Laguna Beach. The average, or the median home price in Laguna is $2.7 million. So we're talking about, some high-priced real estate.
Yes, I mean, it's definitely not cheap. And that's the median price. The average price, which you're going to take into account the higher-end properties, is closer to $3 million. And Laguna Beach is pretty much, as far as realtors go, it's divided into 4 sections. You have Laguna Canyon, you have Laguna Village, North Laguna, and South Laguna. And so these areas, you have a variance of price points. And if you're looking for, I guess, a bargain, if you want to put it that way, for Laguna Beach standards, Laguna Canyon is your place. Now, what you won't have is that it is, like, depending on where you are along Laguna Canyon Road, which is also Highway 133, basically you're going to be about a mile or so away from the beach, and you don't really have ocean views per se. You may have canyon views, but Laguna Canyon, the median price point there is $699,000, which is extremely low when you consider the city itself. On average, in median price points about 2.7. Now, what you do have on the other areas, do hug the coastline. So, North Laguna is about $2.6 million, like right about the median price point of what Laguna Beach in general is. They actually pretty much all are. They're very close. And then, but when you look at the average price point, when you take into account the higher price points, that's where you get North Laguna just ballooning up. I think the average price is $3.86 million in North Laguna, and then in South Laguna is also about $3 million, give or take. And it's interesting to see like that dynamic at play. But the coastline is going to be it's going to be pricey.
Yeah, for sure. And also, if you've never actually been to Laguna,
that's a really interesting history.
Yeah, it does, because it actually, people really started discovering it in the 1930s
when Hollywood came down.
Yeah, Hollywood directors would come down and they would film there, and then it became really an art colony. And then, it was really just a bunch of beach cottages that were down there that people would come, for vacation. And then as Orange County grew, it became its own little place. And Laguna still has that feel to it, and I'm going to give you a little quote from my friend Chris. He explains it in a way that is better than me, so here's the quote. Laguna is not the bohemian hippie colony it once was, with a bunch of hairy Krishnas running around, but there are still traces of that. You can still feel that if you know where to look. So
they have their roots.
Yes, they have their roots, and that's actually a big pro about Laguna for me, is that there's a lot of really, big time artists that have big galleries down there. And if you go into the really touristy section of Laguna, there's just art galleries.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
everywhere. And world famous artists too.
Yeah, so it's, if you just want to go, for a fun night, going to look around just at some beautiful art, you can just go to the art galleries. It's actually a really fun thing to do.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and then I would say one con about Laguna, it's a pro and a con, and that is it's very isolated.
I haven't talked to anybody in a while.
There's a big green belt. It's like a green belt that surrounds it.
Yes.
So it's really hard to get in and out of Laguna. So speak to that. It's isolation.
Yeah, basically you have two real arteries that get you in there. You have Laguna Canyon Road, so again Highway 133, and you have Pacific Coast Highway. Those are two main ways to get in there. And I think people pay for that kind of exclusivity there because they kind of want to be away from everything. They don't want, they don't want to be right in the middle of all the hustle and bustle, and you definitely get that vibe there.
Yeah, for sure. And then another, I would say, so that's a pro and a con. And then if we're going, because it's so isolated, one thing that's interesting about Laguna Beach is that it has a lot of, because Orange County is not known for nightlife. So it has a lot of nightlife as well as a lot of culture.
Yeah.
So these are interesting things for Orange County. So it has, museums, it has a playhouse, it has, movie theaters, really good restaurants.
The beaches. Beautiful beaches.
Beautiful Sawdust Festival, Pageant of the Masters. So there's a lot of culture there. There's a lot of, stuff like that there. So that makes Laguna unique in Orange County, I would say.
Totally is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then I would say this goes along with any really touristy place. I mean, one con of Laguna, if you want to say that, is it in the peak season, the way that Chris described it, and it is true, is that it's basically like Aspen at Christmas time. I mean, in the summer, which is the peak season for Laguna, it is basically it's like Europe. I mean, you go there and it's insane. Like, speak to the crowds of Laguna.
Yeah, I mean, talk about impact. I mean, it's crazy. When you're actually on PCH, and literally where Laguna Canyon Road hits PCH, or it becomes Main Street actually, but basically there's a horde of people that are crossing the street because they're want to get to the beach, and again it's right there. It's not that huge of a beach area, and it's just packed.
Yeah.
And again, it's
and the
really,
parking is just insane.
Yeah, it can be pretty crazy. So again, it comes with the territory. I mean, a lot of beach cities are like this. And Laguna Beach is no different from that perspective, for sure.
Yeah, and because, Laguna Beach is warm, I would say, in that famous Dumb and Dumber quote.
Where are we gonna go?
I'll tell you where. Someplace warm. A place where the beer flows like wine. Where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called Aspen.
Laguna is
what again Jim Carrey thought Aspen was, basically.
Yeah, I would say Laguna is a better quote for that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing is that the parking, explain the parking. So
piggybacking on the whole tourist stuff, basically with that, parking is impacted, and and I would say as a little pro tip, if you make sure you have enough parking spaces for the amount of cars that you have, because parking, especially on the weekends, can be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I mean,
like a good friend of yours, like
she used to live there in Laguna
and they pretty much had one parking spot.
Yeah, because they had a little beach cottage, and she would park on the weekends,
like on the street,
and then she just would not leave. She would, walk to the store to get her stuff. She would walk to Whole Foods, and then that was
about it.
Yeah.
That was her weekend.
That was her weekend. She's like, I can't leave. I already found parking, so yeah. And then just if you do decide to live in Laguna, don't be, too discouraged by the tourism season, because Chris was saying that that's the tourism season, but then the locals kind of have their season. You talk about like Indian summer in California, when it stays warm really until the end of October and sometimes into November. That's really the local season, when the locals are out, just enjoying the beach. And then he said too, which is true that for us as well, Laguna in the winter is one of the most beautiful places that you could be.
Pretty amazing.
In the winter, I mean, the weather is spectacular. It's
beautiful.
Yeah, we actually, as staycation tourists, we really like to go down to Laguna in the winter.
Oh,
I rarely go in the summer. We mostly always go.
Yeah, why go when all the crowds are there? So, we definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. And then another pro about Laguna is that it's a very tight-knit community, and Chris was saying, because he's a surfer, obviously, that it can get a little territorial for sure. He says that there are some surfers, hardcore surfers. He's kind of describes it like Norm at Cheers, like that's his seat. He's always there. There's a certain dude, he's always at this spot, and if you're at his spot, he will let you know. He will let you know that you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah. He marked his territory.
Yeah, he marked his territory, and so and he said every beach really has that. It has these little groups that this is their spot, and sometimes they have volleyball tournaments against like the other group that's 100 yards away. So, but yeah, that's just how Laguna is. And he said because a lot of his friends like him moved away to other spots in Orange County, but they always come back on the weekends. Yeah, and they always catch up and meet up with each other.
Totally.
And, so that kind of stuff. So just know, the surfers they're kind of hardcore.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man, if you're attacked by a shark, are you going to give up surfing?
Although, I would say I would probably stop surfing in that circumstance.
I would too. But the ones at Laguna, they wouldn't.
So also like a little bit of an overview about like specific, venues or whatever for like art galleries and nightlife. We actually have a list of places that are really cool.
Yeah, well, so these are the ones that Chris said that the locals really like is the Sandpiper, the Rooftop Lounge, Dirty Bird, Marine Room, Hennessy's, Mozambique, the Beach House. So if you want to get a real local experience, you can go down to those places, and maybe you'll meet somebody whose parents won the lottery because
or you're brushing elbows against a billionaire that decided to buy over there. You never know.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. And then I would say, okay, so we always have to talk about schools and safety when we talk about these cities. So schools, Laguna Beach,
good schools,
has
fantastic
excellent schools. Yeah. Laguna Beach High School. I mean, it's small because Laguna Beach is about
23,000 people. I mean, it's a very small population. Especially by Orange County standards, it's super small.
Yeah.
But you have great high schools, and even
there's only one high school.
Yeah, and great high school. Well, great public high school, and then you have a fantastic like private school that again is right next door in Newport Coast at like Sage Hill. So you have great options there.
Yeah, for sure. And then safety, like many beach cities, it's better than average for California, but you do get the rowdiness of tourists and
just again, beach just kind of it's kind of goes with the territory, but again, it's still above average for safety.
Yeah, and then another thing about Laguna Beach is that niche.com, they did a survey of the most family-friendly cities in Orange County, and Laguna Beach came in at number 9, so it's a very family-friendly place.
For a beach city, for sure.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Chris mentioned too. It's very family-friendly. It's a
great city. I mean, it's a fantastic city if you can afford it. If you can afford it, I mean, it's by all means, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's it. That's our video.
But remember, you got to reach out to us if you want to take a look at that perfect property they may want to go live or at least want to go see. So to do that, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.
Or you can talk to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back.